Thank you for staying with us. Now, the armed robbery attack in Gateway Polytechnic, ICT, in Ogun State has resulted in the death of a student, just as 9 others sustained injuries from sporadic shots and female students allegedly sexually molested. The students of this school revealed that robbery attacks have become a recurring problem for the past 2 weeks. The level of the insecurity around the institution calls for urgent attention from the school management as students now live in fear and uncertainty. The Alumni Association of the Polytechnic also suggested a declaration of a state of emergency on security and curfew from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. around Remo North local government in the state. In a swift reaction, operatives of the Ogun State Police Command have arrested 5 new suspects in connection with the recent robbery attacks and killings in some parts of the state, particularly in the Gateway Polytechnic, Sapade. Well, joining us to talk more on this development is SSA on Public Communications to Ogun State Governor Aide Odufowokon. Aide, good morning. Good morning. It's good to have you on the program. We'll need you to clear the air on what really is happening along that axis where the school is. We've seen videos of students saying that actually this is not the first time incidents like this have happened, but it seemed this one was just different, especially perhaps the number of victims with regards to this. But talk to us how it is a school environment is not seemingly safe.
Thank you. First and foremost, we need to understand the fact that the Gateway Polytechnic Sapade is an off-campus institution. It is not as if these things happened in a school hostel or something. However, it's unfortunate that it happened. The government of Ogun State is quite sympathetic to the victims, and a lot has been done and is being done to ensure that we don't have such situation again. The idea or the notion that students probably are being targeted is actually wrong. It's a criminality like any other one that will happen elsewhere. This last one, there was one before then, and it was robbery along the express. The school is located in Sapade, which it's a meeting point of about 3 other towns. 3 towns. Sapade itself is not a town, it's just a location. Ode Remo, Ishara, Ipara. You know, just like having a place where they all met.
Vulnerable?
And right on the highway, if you must know. It's right on the highway. So that environment, a robbery on the highway, a robbery in any other part of the town, could have students living in such areas. They are off-campus students living within these communities I mentioned, Ode, Ipara, Ishara. You understand? Even some of them stay in Ikperu. So they stay all over the place. And when the criminality happened anywhere, some students may happen to be living there. There were incidences of other criminalities like forceful obtainance of phones and all that. There were issues of breakery and entry. I remember very recently that, also, that there was a time some hoodlums forcefully collected the phone of some students. And the police was alerted. They ran into the bush. The police and locals, community people, stayed for almost 2 hours, combing the bush until these people were apprehended. They are part of those terrorizing the students. And a lot of security measures have been taken. I must tell you that this last incident happened, and there were distress calls to the police who rushed down there. There was actually, it was not as if the criminals or robbers had a field day shooting students. No. There was a shootout between the police and these armed robbers. Police got there in good time and engaged the robbers. It was while they were fleeing, they started shooting indiscriminately and sporadically. And people happened to be hit by their bullet. A lot of people wounded, one person killed
In the name of Shegun, and I understand that the last time I spoke with you on this show, we talked about security.
We talked about security
and all of that, and that's speaking to the fact that security-wise, Ogun State looks like it's still quite on the high side, because you've also mentioned places that the school is on the highway and the robbery could be taking place in adjacent towns and all of that. But is that to say that the security in Ogun State is getting more difficult to?
No. To say the least, or to say the obvious now, it's improving. I must tell you, we all understand how the situation was before the coming of the current administration in Ogun State. We must not, while our administration is not one to blame, apportion blames, we must also give records or keep records of how we are doing. The security situation in Ogun before the coming of Governor Abiodun was nothing to write home about. That's the truth. But since it's come, things, you must also understand that criminals, when you chase them from a location, they move to another. Now, about a month or so, we were talking about Shagamu. You must also understand the fact that some of these criminal elements moved further inward. And that's why we're talking. Some of the wanted criminals in Shagamu, in Abiodun, have recently been arrested in some of the towns around this area we're talking about. Recently. Criminals, wanted people who are on police wanted list, were arrested around Akaka, around Ishara. These are towns around this Sapade. And you must also understand the fact that, for example, let me tell you, when this incident happened, there was a shootout, some of the robbers escaped. But the police, working with intelligence and other things, trailed and tracked them, tracking the vehicle they went away with, trailing members of the gang with intelligence to another location in the state where the vehicle, the Lexus car snatched from the victim, was recovered alongside another Lexus car, a black one now, which was earlier in the day snatched by the same gang in another location, far from Sapade Polytechnic. Far from it. The same gang that operated there was in another location earlier, snatched another car. So the two vehicles were recovered in their hideout, and some of them arrested. You just mentioned it now. The police commissioner just spoke about this arrest just yesterday. 5 more arrests, 3 earlier, another 5. The police will not come and be telling us on national TV or in the newspaper how they are going about addressing security issues. That's why it appeared before now as if nothing was really happening.
But all the people, the responsibility of informing them about how they...
But not of the strategy. As they make progress, they will talk about it. Like when it became possible to talk about what they've been able to do yesterday, they did, and we are aware of it now. But the strategy, the way and manner, they may not be able to. So that because we want these people apprehended.
But knowing how vulnerable the institution is, one would expect that government will put extra measures in place to secure the students against what it is doing now.
Let me tell you, as I speak with you now, you can check these facts, not less than 8 patrol vehicles of the police are stationed in that axis. Patrolling.
We are not saying what the government is doing now, but before now, knowing how vulnerable that area
That's exactly what, see, before now,
right,
not less than 3-4 police patrol vehicles are in that area. I am from that axis. I can tell you this. Aside that, the Ogun State, you see, the government is not in total control of the police.
Absolutely.
Nor the army. But do you know we have other security measures in Ogun State? A lot of it. A number of it that have also been empowered to help with the security of that axis. But until we find a way of matching the firearms these criminals go about with, we'll keep needing the police and other government security agencies. Until, even at a point, the whole Ogun State now have a security network that encompasses all security agencies. And the governor meets with them regularly. You have the access to the police commissioner. Call him and find out. You can call the DSS director in the state. That we are saying the government meets with them regularly. Almost on. In fact, I don't want to begin to, because of the concern for Ogun State with its proximity to it's the gateway state. Even fleeing criminals from other states we may want to, pass through in the process, operate. That is why we are on our toe. You can't pass from Lagos anywhere without passing Ogun State. If you face Lagos from Oyo, you must pass Ogun. Even from neighboring Benin Republic. So you can see the location. Yes. Exactly. That is something we must always consider when we talk about security, criminality in Ogun. Right. Most of these people don't live in Ogun State. They don't, most time, their main target is not even in Ogun State. But because Ogun is a place they will pass through, because at times they feel that having operated in some other places, they can hibernate for a while in Ogun. But we've been saying this and they know now. There is no criminality that has happened that the security agencies in Ogun don't get to the root of it. You can mention one for me. And anyone that is yet to be resolved, I can assure you, without the opportunity of being able to expatiate, that work is on it, and the people involved will be nabbed.
That's also emphasizing the point that being the gateway state, all the borders need to be well manned. Now the students are off campus for the next 2 weeks, according to the school management. So what happens after 2 weeks? Because the new entrants are now forced to go online. Actually, to go online for lectures and all of that. What about the staylights? So the way we call them. So after 2 weeks, what happens? What measures do you think?
We're not waiting for 2 weeks before we do the needful, because it's the needful. These are students. For them to learn appropriately, they must be comfortable. They must have no fears of security breaches and the like. The government is on its toes. The security agents, like I told you, additional police team is now on ground there. And it's not a one-off thing. The DPOs of the police division in Oderemo and that one in the one in Ishara are working together, collaborating with the support and interest. I must use the word interest from the CP.
For how long would they be there for?
It is a permanent. We are looking towards a permanent solution. Whatever needs to be done to secure that area. The traditional rulers, Yalayo de Oderemo, the Odemo of Ishara, the Oba in Ipara, are also collaborating with the government. Governor Abiodun is one that believes in total solutions. It's not about just what can we do. We bring in police, and then after a while, maybe the security will relapse again and we have it. No. Community policing. Now, you are the traditional rulers in that area. What do you think we can do to ensure we don't have criminal elements hibernating among us? What are the modus operandi of you taking tenants into your houses? Can we know the people living in your communities? Do you know them? The kings, the chiefs, the elites of each town are now galvanized by the government. Come, let's do this together. The government will be, it will not be in your town, in your villages, in your communities every time. It is time for us to have a system that can allow all of us to go to bed and sleep well. And that is exactly, that answers the question. It's after 2 weeks, are we having the usual, okay, let's mobilize security for a while? No. And that is why the school management felt that, look, let's have you go home for a while. We need to, it's a thorough, the police commissioner is involved, the director of DSS, everybody, even local vigilantes, hunters group, and everybody that can volunteer something meaningful in this fight against criminality is being carried along.
All right, we need to quickly go on a break. When we return, we'll continue our conversation. Stay with us. All right, thank you for staying with us. Before we went on the break, we were talking about the incident of armed robbery attack at Gateway Polytechnic, ICT in Ogun State, where some students were affected with regards to that incident, and the school has gone on a 2-week recess. It was closed down for 2 weeks, actually, so that issues can be addressed before students return. And we still have with us in the studio SSA on Public Communications to Ogun State Governor Abiodun speaking with us on this matter. Now, security, as much as the responsibility lies with the government and even security operatives, it is not only them that can handle these things. It is often said that security is the business of everyone. And so it brings to light the matter of the community itself, what they are doing, or what they are saying with regards to addressing these issues. They should have information, perhaps intelligence on what is needed to address this matter.
Exactly. You see, it's as if you are speaking the mind of the Ogun State government as we speak. Our position, in fact, something the government holds very dearly, is the fact that community involvement will go a long way in solving many of these problems. Community involvement. We, the people of the community, are the ones who take tenants into our houses. We are also the ones who understand the movements and behaviors of our own children, our own youths. Some of these criminalities are perpetrated because some friends were invited home by some indigenes or residents, stayed with them, played with them, moved around the community with them, identified soft targets, only to return. So I will agree totally with you that the community must brace up. As much as the government will not leave any stone unturned, the community, leaders, people, youths. There was an incident of somebody, there was a case. The criminals bolted into the bush. And with the concerted effort of the locals, the youths, the men, the hunters, combing the bushes for hours, they were apprehended. If they had left the police to it alone, there will be little or nothing they will have been able to do. So all hands must definitely, and that's why we keep appealing to our royal fathers. We keep talking to our elites in these communities. What can you do to help government? Security is a local thing. It's within. Total security will only happen when everybody is cooperating. When there are no moles, when there are no black legs, no fifth columnist in the business of securing the lives and properties of the people.
Right. So, well, it's also said that female students allegedly, were allegedly sexually molested, gender violence, during this robbery in the school. Kaduna is proposing castration for anyone who is involved in rape. Do you feel that Ogun State should also, key into this kind of measures to fight those who are, getting into this criminal act?
Just yesterday, women marked the annual 16 days of resistance to
16 days of activism. Against
gender-based violence. And the governor ensured that he was personally present as part of the procession. Was there, the first lady was there, the wife of the speaker was there, the wife of the SSG. This is to show you the commitment of Governor Abiodun to the protection of the female gender. And while speaking there, he made it clear that he repeated it, that everything needed to protect the girl child, the woman, the lady, against rape will be done by his administration. He called on the leaders of the women to always bring every single case to his notice. The laws are very clear about what happens to rapists, but I know from what he said yesterday that he is willing and open to, even he spoke about contacting the Chief Justice of the State, who incidentally is a woman now, to see how there could be further protection for the girl child and further punishment beyond what the law states now for perpetrators. So while I will not be talking singularly about castration or not, I am sure, even if there is a worse form of punishment, the government will not hesitate to agree to such to people who would rape. It's the greatest inhumanity from man to a fellow human. And no punishment will be too much for such an act.
Now, when we talked about community effort towards addressing this matter of policing, you said that, yes, it is something the state government is looking at. But is there a measure or structure in place where perhaps people can report cases, say anything that has to do with what they have seen to the state government? Is there a measure in place? Is there a structure in place for this to be a successful movement, so to speak? That's on the one hand. The other aspect is the matter of trust. A lot of Nigerians do not trust security operatives. How is the state government addressing that? Is there a level of trust between the people and the police operatives, and the people such that they can work hand in glove?
Thank you very much. I'll start from the last one. The current administration in Ogun State has built such trust through its security apparatus, and I'll explain. We have a security system besides the police, under the watchful eye of a special advisor to the governor on security matters. Localized security structure that is down the ladder to the communities, where you, as an individual, can silently walk up to somebody. You don't have to call the man at the top. There is always somebody you could walk up to proffer information, advices, suggestions, intelligence, and it goes up the ladder with the information you give being treated with utmost secrecy and confidentiality. That has been in place, and it has been helping a lot. I told you about these vehicles were swiftly recovered, arrests made. The last time there were court clashes here and there, a lot of big wigs arrested, prosecuted. Prosecution ongoing for some of them. These successes were products of that system. That is one. So it is there. And then you have a police, you have this collaboration with the police, with the DSS, with the army, with other security agencies that is really helping, because information flows from the people to the people's representative, to the police, and back that way. It's a structure that is there. Then there are some phone numbers that are just out there for that purpose. Recently, we had the unfortunate killing of one of our directors. And the governor promised that he will leave no stone, and he meant it, and he's working on it. Now, we are calling on members of the public to offer all forms of information that can help with unraveling these mysteries. No, the government is unhappy with this development and is determined to end it now. He is not of the opinion that he should leave this security issue to another administration. No. He feels we know what to do. Let's do it. You do your bit, I do my bit, the community will do their bit, and then we'll end this menace. So it is possible with the structure in place now for the people, the government, and the security agents to work hand in hand and rid Ogun of criminalities.
Right.
Well, Ogun State got
1 minute.
1 minute. Well, several schools in Ogun State. We've got the Abiodun Polytechnic. We've got the FUNAB, which is the federal. We've got federal government of Shele. This particular one we're talking about, Sapade, the Gateway State Polytechnic. Do you not feel that if push comes to shove, it might affect the community at large? Because the community needs to, just like you mentioned, the traditional leaders and all of them, what exactly do you need? Do you think it's needed to be done to make people come into that school? Because they might be scared to seek admission into that school if the security situation is not
That's a second.
So what we need to do is improve the security situation around the school. Ensure it's safe. And that's exactly what the government is doing.
All right.
It's a place where we have our children, the futures of our state and the country.
That's a fine place to leave the
Put
conversation.
everything in order to ensure the place is safe.
Right. Thank you very much. SSA on Public Communications, the Ogun State Governor, Abiodun. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.